What's up, guys? Chill Rob here, making this video after seeing all the Ronda Rousey reactions. She is beloved and beyond reproach by most casual fans, but disliked by some of the hardcore fans. And I think a lot of that stems from the lens in which we view her. There's the infallible version that the mainstream media projects, and then there's the one that fight fans have come to know. And you know, there are plenty of similarities. This is very much a Venn diagram. And I do want to preface this by saying I am a Ronda Rousey fan, not as big as I was a couple years ago, but tremendous respect for what she's done for the sport as a pioneer. Her place on the Mount Rushmore of mixed martial arts is secure, but there's no denying if you keep close tabs on the sport, she's not always humble in victory, and from what we've seen so far, does not react well to losing. Where people saw a badass in mainstream coverage, many people inside the MMA bubble, they see arrogance. Where the mainstream media told us about a brave comeback story, I kind of saw someone who was still struggling to grow and figure out why she's even still doing this. Like a lot of the hardcore fans, I want to see champions who are humble in victory and defeat. That has not been Ronda Rousey. For me, it started at UFC 168, December 2013. Tate versus Rousey 2. After the Ultimate Fighter, they didn't and still don't like each other, and that's no big deal. No different than a lot of other fights. But what many of us love about this sport, after the fight, win or lose, you leave the cage with class. And if you don't know by now, Ronda rejecting Miesha Tate's hand, that was just petty. And why? All because she talked some smack about her teammates? But Rousey did the same thing. She went after Miesha Tate's boyfriend big time.
You know, her boyfriend is like this tiny little balding braces kind of just easy guy. The idea of him putting his mouth on anything of mine is just, you know, what do we call it? We started calling him the Black and Decker Coochie Wrecker. Once you insult my family, I can't shake your hand.
But be that as it may, once the fight is over, we want to see mutual respect. But for Ronda, she just takes it too personal. She holds on to this grudge, which is not healthy. And I wasn't alone in thinking that she should just let it go.
All this booze, does this bother you at all?
No, man. When I did judo, I got booed in 30 different countries around the world.
Ronda Rousey was soundly booed in the cage. There's no way any casual fan could have picked up on that from all the coverage that they've seen throughout the last couple of years. If this was an isolated incident, no big deal. But let's fast forward. August 2015, she demolishes Bethe Correia. It was her most impressive win yet, a knockout victory that actually had people at the time thinking that she could take out Cyborg. But because Bethe talked some smack before the fight, you know, she has to turn around and mouths off at an opponent who was just limp a couple seconds ago, telling her, "Don't cry." I mean, you won. It's over. You can say you're great without kicking someone when they're down. People don't like to see that. That's what you call a sore winner. Ronda fans who are okay with that were somehow then complaining about Amanda Nunes' tweet. That's another reason why you have keyboard warriors out there who want to see her go down. All of that could be forgotten, wiped away, ignored if you're just humble in defeat. It's okay to be brash. You show off the gusto, the bravado, but when you lose, and in MMA, it's really more of a matter of when than if you lose like a champion. But let's be honest, she hasn't done that either. Well, after the Holly fight, she fell off the face of the earth. Now, do I expect her to talk after getting KO'd? Of course not. And I really don't care to see any fighter interviewed after they've been concussed. But there's no debating. She did not handle that like a champion. Yes, it was a demoralizing defeat. She was embarrassed. It was probably emotionally overwhelming. Her perfect record and mystique was shattered. But it happens to everybody. She's not unique in that. Conor McGregor fell on his face versus Nate Diaz. He gassed out in the second round. Went to the ground. He panic wrestled, got choked out pretty quick. But he didn't run. And just this weekend, Dominic Cruz, he also launched a verbal assault at Cody Garbrandt. All that talk, and he did not back it up on Friday. Fell for the first time in 10 years. But he showed up after the fight too. And remember Paige Van Zandt? That hype train was on the fast track to the top when she suffered her first UFC loss. Just got crushed by Rose Namajunas. And don't you think that was embarrassing for her? A tough pill to swallow? The reality check that her hype wasn't anywhere near her abilities yet? But what did she do?
I got outclassed in every way. So just get back with my team and game plan and work on my technique.
Was she emotional? Yes, she cried. But in defeat, she set a great example. It was very impressive that someone so young, I think she was 21, could display that kind of mental fortitude. Don't forget about Miesha Tate. How do you think she felt when she lost to Ronda that second time?
And I picked Mount Everest. You know, I didn't quite make it to the top, but I gave it my best effort, and I'm going to try to walk away as best I can with my head held high.
She gathered herself together and went on to actually win the title. And she took it from Holly Holm, who, by the way, Ronda tweeted this about. And ask yourself, if someone tweeted that about Ronda, would she have been as classy as Holly was in victory? That's the beef of some of the hardcore fans. If you're going to dish it out like that, you have to be able to take it. But back on message, Holly was 90 seconds away from hanging on to that belt when Miesha put her to sleep. Did she disappear post-fight?
I feel fine. My, heart hurts. Let's just get in there. Let's get in there and get it back.
So why does Ronda Rousey get a pass? She's even more popular, a more important fighter. If anything, that means she should be held to a higher standard. A huge demand, no doubt. But that's the responsibility that comes with that kind of name recognition and fame and money. This weekend, another no-show. It just gives off the impression that when you lose, you take your ball and you go home. Having the guts to step into the spotlight while not feeling your best or coming off a victory, that's the easy part. All right, you step into the spotlight after you win. Stepping into it when things don't go your way. That's the mark of a champion outside the cage. I think many other fight fans see Ronda Rousey as a person who soars when the going is good. She'll talk to everybody. I mean, this is what she used to think of the haters.
Even the people that booed me, thank you for the noise.
But when the going gets tough, she wraps her hands in FTA. I can't repeat it.
And then at some point, Ronda Rousey flips out on Paige Van Zandt, who may be the sweetest girl in the UFC. Miesha Tate told a story of how Ronda Rousey and Paige Van Zandt were at the same Reebok shoot, and Paige wanted to get a photo with her, but a Reebok representative said, no, you better stay out of her way. And here's what Miesha Tate said happened.
And I guess Ronda came later that day and seeked her out and just cussed her out. Fuck you, you fair weather. How dare you cross me? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, cross you? What are you talking about? And she's like, you congratulated Holly Holm for beating me. So fuck you fair weather, 115 pound. It was just went off on Paige.
When I first heard this, half of me said, that is so outrageous. But at the same time, I can envision that. And that story is so specific, I don't think Miesha Tate made it up. And then Paige Van Zandt confirms that that actually took place. And that's something else that casual fans and casual celebrities who are tweeting, they don't know any of this stuff. And it's just petty. There's no way around it. This is the equivalent of Draymond Green, going up to some rookie, let's say Joel Embiid, and going off, verbally just going off on Joel Embiid because he congratulated LeBron James on winning the title. That's how petty this is.
And I am not a Ronda Rousey hater. I genuinely feel bad for her because based on the limited media that she did do leading up to this fight or post Holly, it sounds like there was an image of Ronda Rousey that was painted and she's felt the obligation to live up to that.
In the medical room, and I was down in the corner, I was sitting in the corner, and I was like, what am I anymore if I'm not this? And I was literally sitting there and thinking about killing myself, and that exact second I'm I'm nothing. I'm what do I do anymore? And no one gives a shit about me anymore without this.
It was brave of her to share that. And if she does feel like she's nothing without the MMA accolades, she should really give Dominic Cruz a call.
Is tonight the greatest moment of Dominic Cruz's life?
No. The greatest moment in my life was realizing that I didn't need a belt to be happy.
But once again, we come back to the point of how Rousey handles adversity. Not well.
I really do believe I'm still undefeated because being defeated is a choice. Everybody has losses in their life, but I choose to always be undefeated.
I'm sorry, but I don't understand why people are clapping. Losing is part of life, and you only truly lose when you pretend it didn't happen, rather than acknowledge it, figure out what went wrong, and then you grow and evolve from it and not repeat the same mistakes. But by choosing to be undefeated, it almost sounded like she was ignoring reality. And maybe that was a factor for the outcome on Friday. It was like MTV Bully Beatdown there. It was exactly like the Holly fight, but quicker. If you have a young child, I suggest having them watch Dominick Cruz post-fight.
Part of life is losing. I think everybody here can say one time or another, maybe not in a fight, but you felt like a loser. And how do you come back from it? Let's see.
Or McGregor.
I've been on the end of many defeats in my life, and I've rose back, so I will not shy away from it. I will not make excuses for it.
Or Misha.
Just because I didn't perform the way I had hoped doesn't mean I appreciate the fans any less. You know, the fans, they're seriously awesome, and I can't thank them enough for the support.
Or Paige.
I was meant for the spotlight, and I'm going to continue to be in the spotlight, and I will be back, and I'm going to have the belt one day.
I really hope it's not the end of Ronda Rousey, but I only hope she comes back if she finds the right reasons. I mean, maybe she wants to chase greatness even more. Maybe she wants to further challenge herself. But it can't be about wanting to give everyone the big middle finger because you perceive that the media at large has turned their back on you. I just named a bunch where someone lost a fight, fell on their face, got embarrassed, and the media coverage was positive. But when you lose a fight and you don't talk, you disappear, go into hiding, there is no positive media that can be spun into that. And then you handpick who you talk to, which makes it even worse because people are now speculating as to why that is. She's not a fraud. There have been some articles, people thinking that she was a fraud all along and that she just beat up on a weak division, which I guess by default, I guess you could consider it weak compared to today. But back then, those were the best of the best that were there. A couple of years ago, she could blow the doors off of the roster with just with her toughness in judo, but not anymore. I mean, it's only been a couple of years, but the sport has evolved. She was the Terminator. Then other Terminators started making their way through the pipeline, the Holly Holmes, the Amanda Nunezes. But along the way, Ronda Rousey did not upgrade herself to be ready for when those new Terminators showed up, and that's why she finds the position that she's in right now, dethroned. But I hope it really doesn't end here for her because she does deserve better. After all, this is someone who once moderated a Pokemon forum. And there's no way I can hate on that. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Click subscribe if you can for more videos. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace.